The ultimate deck is almost here, showing a top tier Dark Magician deck profile that can compete with the meta. But first, the big question is, do we have to use proxies? I'm gonna be opening a 2020 Megaton because, I mean, look at this thing. It's just completely gorgeous. Like, oh man, I just had to see if we can open that Red Eyes Dark Dragoon and a Successor Soul and the Destined Rivals all in one tin. If we do, we're godlike. If we don't, we're still godlike. Also, if you guys want to see more content like this, then be sure to destroy that subscribe button and let me know down below in the comment section, what cards did you open with your Megaton, and also what decks do you plan on building with it. Let's go ahead and open this bad puppy up. I don't need no scissors because this is what a real man do. I might need scissors. Yeah, I'm getting somewhere. Come on. I can't back up on my man comments now, and I can't use my teeth. Got it! Here we go. Nobody can stop us because we too strong. So man, this is a 2020 Megaton. We're gonna go ahead and move that bad puppy. Hope that it auto focuses back in, and you get 3 packs with the 2020 Megatons, and it's apparently the ratio is 2 per case. So we're gonna go ahead and open up pack number 1. All right, so pretty decent. Shinobi, Necro, Blue Tang, Mystic Mine. Boy, should we play Mystic Mine in our Dark Magician deck? Probably not. Still trying to get that Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, Rogue of Endymion, Witchcrafter Scroll, Gizmek Yada, Spin Turn, and a Salomon Great Pyro Phoenix. It is perfectly fine. We still have one more opportunity to get that Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. Let's hurry up and open this pack up. And boy, will we be able to get that card that we need. I'm gonna go boom, 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 boom. Okay, Firewall XC Dragon. Zerzio, here comes the moment of truth. World Legacy Guard Dragon, that is a sexy prismatic. That is so sexy. Here comes the ultra rares though. We are going to get a Destined Rivals. Yes, we finally did it. Yeah, boy, Team Strong. Destined Rivals is going to be important for our Dark Magician deck profile. Are we going to get the Dark Dragoon? No, we're going to get, so close, so close. Why is this even an ultra rare? But let's jump into the deck profile. Okay, so this Dark Magician deck profile is going to be built with the meta in mind. Hopefully the next Forbidden list makes Dark Magician tier 1 that god tier deck that everyone wants. But until then, a man can at least wish. The main deck consists of 3 copies of Dark Magician and a Red Eyes B Dragon. You play this pretty much in every Dark Magician deck. The Red Eyes is a new addition because of the Dark Dragoon. And then forward, we play 3 copies of a Printed Illusion Magician. In order for us to get into the Red Eyes Dark Dragoon consistently, we need 2 effect monsters to our side of the field. And the cool thing about a Printed Illusion Magician is that none of our effects are once per turn. So essentially, if you have a Printed Illusion Magician and a card in your hand to discard, you can summon... So essentially, if you have 2 Apprentice Illusion Magicians and a card in your hand to discard, you can summon 2 copies of her, which will fill the conditions of Vert Anaconda, meaning that you get a Red Eyes Dark Dragoon without even using your normal summon. Next is the best normal summon in 3 Magician's Rod for this deck. It allows you to search either Eternal Soul or Dark Magical Circle. That's going to be pretty important, seeing that that's kind of our combo. Moving forward, 3 copies of Magician Souls. This card is phenomenal. I understand if you guys cannot afford Magician Souls, I do have a budget option. I'm going to try to give you guys as many budget options as possible, but basically what Magician Souls does, it's a free special summon to our side of the field, and it allows us to get rid of our dead cards such as extra Eternal Souls and Dark Magical Circles to draw free cards. But if you guys can't afford Eternal Souls, then Fusion Deployment doesn't necessarily do exactly the same thing as Dark or Magician Souls, but it allows you to special summon a Dark Magician to your side of the field. You are locked into Fusion summoning, but you can actually work around that because Red Eyes Dark Dragoon is a fusion monster. Next is a card that is really good in this deck and built to counter some of the meta. 1 copy of Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer. Now what Kaiku does is that when it inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can banish cards in your opponent's graveyard. This is really good against like the Dino matchup, being able to banish the Miscellaneous Ceres. It's also good against the Eldritch matchup, banishing their Golden Lords. This card is insane. Its next effect prevents the opponent from banishing cards from the graveyard, so no to their Eldritch trap cards and no to that Miscellaneous Ceres, just in case you can't banish it. This deck can freely get it to the side of the field, and I'll show you how in the later portions of this video. Next, we do play 3 copies, 4 hand traps of Psy-Frame Gear Driver, and that Psy-Frame, or 3 copies of Psy-Frame Gear Gamma and that Psy-Frame Gear Driver. If you guys don't like the Driver Gamma thing, you can go ahead and take out all 4 of these for 2 Nibiru and 2 Ghost Ogres and Slow Rapid, or whatever hand traps you see fit. I feel that Gamma is really important in this format because a lot of times you want to not only negate your opponent's monster effect, you want to completely get rid of the monster. You don't want them linking forward. Also, if you can pop off Gamma and get it to your side of the field, that is 2 free monsters that you can start linking off with and get on with your plays. 2 copies of Effect Veiler for effect negation, and 2 copies of Fantastical Dragon Phantasme, allowing you to manipulate your hand, but also being a dragon monster to be able to fuse into your Dark Magician fusion monster or your Red Eyes fusion monster. That's it for the monsters. For the spells, we run 3 copies of Dark Magical Circle. Card's like the best card in the deck. 3 copies of Soul Servant. This card is freaking phenomenal. It actually makes me want to play Dark Magician Girl, but she's not that great. Basically what Soul Servant does is that you can place a Dark Magician card to the top of your deck, and then you can banish it to draw cards from your graveyard up to the number of Dark Magician, Palladium, or Dark Magician Girl cards, which in this particular deck it's only going to be 1, but that's perfectly fine because that 1 card is basically what you just stack to the top of your deck, and it works well with Dark Magical Circle. Next is 1 copy of Magical Eye Susan. Red Eyes Dark Dragoon is a spellcaster monster. That's probably why it doesn't say it doesn't say dragon. And lastly is Red Eyes Fusion. This is the main card that you use to summon Red Eyes Dark Dragoon in the first place. Moving on to the traps, 3 copies of Eternal Soul. This is the most important card. And one of my spicy techs is 2 copies of Magician's Navigation. Now, Magician's Navigation is really, really good. It special summons a Dark Magician from your hand and a level 7 or lower spellcaster monster from your deck. This card is free access to Kaiku, the Ghost Destroyer. You can summon it in Dinos or Eldritch or whatever matchups, most opportune time to banish from the graveyard, and just say no. Furthermore, another cool thing about Magician's Navigation is that it is a free discard fodder. Another great thing about Magician's Navigation is that it is an amazing discard fodder. Another thing about Magician's Navigation is that it is amazing discard fodder, pitching it from your hand to the graveyard. Another thing about Magician's Navigation is that it is amazing discard fodder because it does have an effect that while you control a Dark Magician monster, you can negate a card on the field. We do play that 1 copy of Destined Rivals that I pulled from the 2020 Megatins. I was thinking about playing Successor Souls in here because you can tribute the Vert Anaconda, but there just wasn't too many times where it came up. Let me know down below in the comment section if Successor Souls is a card that you would play in your Dark Magician deck, and what other cards would you include in your Dark Magician deck. Lastly is 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence and 1 Skill Drain. If you get Skill Drain off against a deck that really needs their monster effects, you can probably win more often than not. And that is it with the entire main deck. If I remember correctly, it is 22 monsters, 8 spells, and 10 traps. Moving on to the extra deck, 2 copies, my apologies, is Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. This card is the most important card of the deck because not only does it get you Dark Magician to your graveyard, it's a free form of destruction and it can negate cards. It's just freaking phenomenal. It's what makes the deck pop. 1 Psy-Frame Lord Omega, 1 Access Code Talker, 1 Selene. I'll show you the Selene combo in a second. 2 Vert Anacondas, 1 Hacklefibrix, 1 Psy-Frame Lord Lambda, 1 The Dark Magicians, 1 Dark Magician the Dragon Knight, 1 Elder Entity Intis for if they're playing Dogmatica and want to use Maximus, 1 Ebon Illusion, 1 Ebon High, and because I wanted to flex, 1 copy of Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon. Gotta keep Joey in there when we trying to play Yu-Gi-Oh! So that is it for the main board, but I do have an alternative build, and of course, a huge suggestion if you guys want to take this deck to the next level. I would strongly suggest the Synchron engine. Now, the reason why I didn't include it in the main profile is because I know you guys are sick of seeing a Synchron engine first, and second, this might get hit by the forbidden list, but if it doesn't, it's going to be a really good engine for the deck because it provides 2 monsters through Jet Synchron. You can go full combo with a Borload Savage Dragon, and you can still make Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. So definitely consider this if you guys want to play, a different type of Dark Magician, and the deck doesn't need its normal summon. So some other extra deck cards you would obviously have to play are these guys. So strongly consider it. I will put the synchron version or the synchro version of Dark Magician on my Patreon for you guys to watch. But that is it for the main board and the extra deck. I got a few combos to show you. So with the Dark Magician deck, there isn't too many combos, not a lot of razzle dazzle, but just a few combos that you probably should be aware of. Magician's Souls and Magician's Rod equals the Destiny or the Red Eyes Dark Dragoon and a Dark Magical Circle. Now, of course, you have 3 other cards in your hand and a potential to draw 2 additional cards, plus search 3 cards off the top of your deck or look at 3 cards at the top of your deck. So the odds of you getting an Eternal Soul is fairly high. What you are going to do is normal summon your Magician's Rod. Magician's Rod will add a Dark Magical Circle from your deck to your hand, and then you can use the effect of Magician's Souls, sending from your deck to the graveyard a Apprentice Illusion Magician, special summoning your Magician's Souls. From the next thing you are going to do is you're going to use your Magician's Souls and your Magician's Rod, or my apologies, if you do have additional spell cards to pitch, use the effect of Magician's Souls to pitch said cards to the graveyard, or activate your Dark Magical Circle afterward to be able to look for another Eternal Soul. Let's say, for example, we actually got into the Eternal Soul because 5 cards is pretty ridiculous to go through and not see an Eternal Soul, or if you're playing Successor Soul, that works too. Next, you are going to use both your Magician's Rod and your Magician's Souls into your Predaplant Vert Anaconda. Vert Anaconda will activate its effect, send Red Eyes Fusion from your deck to the graveyard, which allows you to send Dark Magician and Red Eyes Dark Dragon to be able to fusion summon your Red Eyes Dark Dragoon to your side of the field. So in this particular situation, whether you have your Successor Soul or your Eternal Soul, you can use Eternal Soul to special summon Dark Magician to be able to disrupt the card. You can also use your Successor Soul, if you play it, to tribute the Predaplant Vert Anaconda to special summon a Dark Magician from your hand or deck and still get the disrupt. And you also have your Red Eyes Dark Dragoon disrupt, all off of 2 cards. That is an amazing combo. I almost forgot to include this little cool thing you do with your deck. Let's say if you did special summon that Dark Magician to your side of the field, you can tribute Dark Magician to add Magician's Rod from your graveyard to your hand. During your next turn, you can normal summon your Magician's Rod. That will get you another card, and then you can use Predaplant Vert Anaconda's effect. If you don't have Vert Anaconda on your side of the field, let's say they get rid of it, it's perfectly fine, as you do play Apprentice Illusion Magicians and more copies of Magician's Soul, so getting that second monster to your side of the field will be easy. Let's just go ahead and link them off for another Predaplant Vert Anaconda. And this time around, we're going to go into Dragoon number 2. I'm going to use the effect of Vert Anaconda, send Magical Eyes Fusion from your deck to the graveyard, and now you banish Dark Magician and your Red Eyes Black Dragon to summon your Dragoon number 2. And now your opponent has to deal with a second Dragoon for virtually free. This also could be done by just, top decking Magical Eyes Fusion or whatever, but that's a pretty cool combo, right? The last particular combo I'm going to show you needs 3 spell cards in either player's graveyard. You need a total of 3. You don't need 3 in each or 3 in a particular one, and you also need 2 monsters on the field. One of them has to be a tuner. So with me, I'm going to go ahead and pick a random tuner. I'm going to pick the most awkward tuner in the deck. I'm going to go ahead and pick Cyframe your Gamma. This combo can be done if you just Gamma your opponent, because that's enough cards. What you're going to do is link both of these monsters into Crystron Hucklefibrix. Hucklefibrix effect will activate to be able to special summon Effect Veiler from our deck. Kind of the reason why we played Effect Veiler in the first place. Now Hucklefibrix and Effect Veiler will be used for a link again. Link into Selene and then use her effect, because there are 3 spell cards in the graveyard. You special summon that Effect Veiler back to your side of the field. And now both of these monsters will be used for your last link summon into your Access Code Talker, which allows you to destroy at least 2 cards on your side of the field, and you'll have a pretty strong Access Code Talker. Thank you guys for watching. It has been amazing to give you guys more Dark Magician content. If you guys want to see a Dark Magician live duel, let's try to get this video to 1,000 likes again, and we'll have that live duel on the way. I hope you guys are having a great day, and I'll catch you on the next video.